Collective, welcome back to the channel. So you guys already know I am living for this Real Housewives situation, and episode 2 did not disappoint. Now the energy was very tense. There were some alliances that I feel like are being tested currently. And I feel like again we saw Stacey getting grilled before she even settled in. So let's break down the tea. Who played it safe, who got exposed, and who's getting into the season stronger than she looks. Okay, so we open up with Stacey meeting up with Giselle. She's hosting, right? Or what? No, not Giselle. What am I talking about? Stacey met up with Wendy, okay, and she was trying to explain away what's going on with her. And she felt like she was being picked on again, which she was. I do feel like these women, I am thoroughly convinced, and I said this at the last episode, but I couldn't really quite put my finger on what was going on. I really believe that these women cannot take Stacey. I feel like Stacey is actually blossoming into, you know, something else. Like, I feel like by the time this season wraps up, if she stays on, we're going to see a not necessarily a different version of Stacey, but Stacey's going to finally be comfortable enough to open up. She's trying to do that. She's attempting to do that, but it's kind of like going back and forth. The women feel this need to kind of like make her explain herself, and I feel like she should do everything but do that. Just like stay pretty, give them enough grace, and then like keep it pushing. Um, but we saw like Wendy kind of side eyeing when Stacey mentioned that she was wearing like her wedding ring again. It's almost as if they liked Stacey better when she was divorced or about to be divorced, or when they thought she was getting a divorce, whatever the case is. It's like they liked her better because they had someone to, you see this with chickens all the time. It's like they want to be able to be miserable with you. So now you have this shared thing in common. And no, I don't want a trauma bond with y'all over that. No, thank you. So I have a man. Like that's kind of the vibe she was giving. And it was, I felt like it was appropriate. Like I just kind of feel like I'm tired of her explaining herself. Like not tired of it. I totally understand it. I just don't want to see her do it because she feels like she has to these women. You know, like I don't think she deserves to be treated like that. But enough on Stacey. I just feel like it's not even about like being on team Stacey. It's just I'm starting to see Stacey in a different light, like newscaster voice and all. Like I love everything about Stacey. So the issue though is I feel like she had already kind of made this pact with herself in a sense of where she was saying that she did not want to like rush talking about whatever's going on with her and her husband, and I totally understand that as well. But like I said, it just felt like she was rushing into that. So let's move on because that was very messy. I did not like the way that they continue to probe her about her personal life. As if she just, this is the other thing, as if she signed up to spill every detail about her personal life. She did not. Just because you decide to be on a TV show, that does not mean that you are obligated to show every aspect of yourself. For one, every aspect of yourself is not that interesting. You do such mundane, boring things that every aspect of what you have going on is not going to be interesting for TV. So the points, and she's been on TV. It's a different format, but she's been on TV. So she knows to some degree, even without watching the show, that everything is not up for grabs. Everything is not a storyline. Okay, so yeah, she's going to continue to stop trusting. I feel like what's going to end up happening is she's going to elevate herself to a certain point to where hopefully her and her husband do get back together. And then we start to see a different aspect of her. And then she kind of doesn't really have to congregate with the other women as much because she's creating her own nucleus. So hopefully that happens. Now let's move on. Because what did we see next? Oh, Giselle met up with Tia, the British lady. Something about this British lady, and it's not her accent. It's not because she's a Nigerian princess or, has this affluent background. Those things I actually do like about her. Like to see that on TV as well. I feel like with Tia, though, I don't feel like she is a girl's girl. And I don't even really like that term for real, because I feel like, first of all, what is a girl's girl? I know what we're supposed to think what a girl's girl is, but a lot of times it gets masked as being like the mean girl. So her and Giselle started talking at her house, and it's like she's trying to fit in, and she has no reason to try to fit in. There's absolutely no reason why she should try to assimilate with these women. Now, being, agreeable enough to where you guys can have, nice events or whatever, that's cool. But it's like, you don't have to do too much to be my friend. And I felt like she was trying to be funny, or she was trying to like get on the side of Giselle when she started. I don't know how to explain this, because okay, let me just give an example. There was something that she said about her husband. I did not like the way that she talked about her husband. I am all for fuck the patriarchy, fuck all of that, blah, blah, but I also understand the importance of a marriage and like the sanctity of it and all of that. I personally do not believe that if you decided, you in your grown age and in your high profile Sotheby's realtor, whatever position she has, child, that does not warrant you or give you enough license to be able to like downplay your husband. A simple task is taking your daughter to the mall. Okay, so basically what happened was the daughter was trying to go to the mall, and Giselle was like, "Oh, you're going to take her to the mall?" And she was like, "No, she has a driver." So then, now this could be bad editing as well. Then it cuts to her talking about how she grew up a certain way and she had X, Y, and Z, a driver, a cook, a nanny, a yada, yada. Okay, all of those things are cool. You're not the only person who's experienced that life. That is a beautiful thing. However, you just went into calling your husband the driver. Then they sat down. Giselle and Tia sat down on the couch, and she started talking about like her husband again. Giselle made a joke, something about, so your husband is basically like the nanny. And she was like, yeah, but don't tell him I said that. I don't like those type of jokes, because first of all, your husband, whether or not he watches the show, it's going to be brought to his attention at some point by the time this episode airs. So saying something like that and being like, oh, so when they were sitting down, the last thing that she said was, not just about him being a nanny, but she was like, I'm not gonna be like driving around and like I grew up with a driver. Like, I don't do that. Like, I get it. We all have our preferences. We have things that we like to do, don't like to do, whatever. But again, she made a point to reference her husband as the driver. So I'm already seeing some type of discrepancy within the household. I'm not really liking it. And I feel like if that's how you treat your husband, I wonder how you treat your friends. I don't know. That really left a bad taste in my mouth. Then she made a point to kind of like giggle and cackle once Angel had her little party. Well, hold on. I'm going a little too fast. Ashley, let me just say this about Ashley. Ashley will never pass up an opportunity to wear a gown. And I love that for her. I think it's adorable that she is like this pageant queen. But I think it's odd that she was going to like the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I mean, not like that's a hard thing to get into. It's like, actually, just say you want to wear a wedding gown. So, and she went with that boy. I really actually don't care about that. Want to move past that. She needs to find another love interest, or just focus on, I've said this already. This is what bothers me about Ashley, though, is like her storyline is not strong enough. I thought we were hitting it out of the park, with the settlement thing, $22 million or $15 million, however you want to look at it. The $20 million divorce settlement, cute. Okay, let's see what you do with that, though. You've already run a business with your husband. Why don't you start a business? Not the one that you did with Giselle. I'm talking about an actual business. Do something. And not to say their business isn't real. I'm just, whatever, y'all. I'm over them. So what happened after that? We had the okay, so then this is where we saw Angel. Angel and her husband, I really actually like their vibe. I feel like they're very chill people. And I like the fact that they are, not from Colorado, but they did their whole outdoorsy thing. And first of all, I love Colorado in general. Love all of the activities and things that you can do out there. So love that. I feel like that brings a nice little mix to the group. She kind of is the oddball out because she is a little bit more on the more, well, from what we saw in the beginning. Okay, she was a little bit more calm, chill, tranquil. And then she also, can do things outside. But when we got to her party, I was slightly disappointed because here again, we're seeing the new women pile on someone who is fairly new with the whole mints thing. Like, it was okay. I mean, I can't even say it was funny. It was slightly like a little disturbing, slightly, that Ashley decided to tell Stacey not once but twice that her breath was hot on air. Like, I just kind of feel like there are plenty of times where you could have pulled her to the side and been like, "Hey girl, you want some gum?" And then kind of let her know or whatever. I don't know how. I also kind of get awkward with shit like that too. So I'm kind of like, maybe Ashley was trying to save herself, and maybe she felt like that was the only opportunity that she had. Maybe it was kicking so bad that she just had to say something and save herself. I don't know. But my whole thing is, one time, two times, that's enough. Now this whole group effort to kind of like embarrass Stacey again just felt like it was doing too much. And then to see the newer women, Angel and what's her face, Tia, join in the background like Kiki Kaka. I was like, girl, please, why are you all like, you are too old. Like, all of y'all are too old to be acting like that. It's just crazy. So Stacey kind of took it, with stride, and she was just like, all right, well, I'll just take him in, that's fine, as long as you guys are off my man and stop talking about him. So that was a little weird. But one other thing I wanted to mention about Angel is the fact that I do love the fact that she is like it. Okay, this is my perception of this woman and her husband is that they live a very full life, right? But they're also fiscally responsible to a degree. Like, they spent all this time and energy building a house from the ground up, owning the land and all of that. But then, like, they're still holding on to that. And I just feel like the other things that they have going on, like, they have a lot of different other things outside of him doing football and all of that, and I think that's great. I don't know if he's retired or not. I just know he doesn't play for the Denver Broncos anymore. So or actually, I don't know, child. Maybe he's off season. I don't know how football works. Don't ask me. I just know that he seems like he treats her well. I like the fact that they've known each other for a long time as well. Oh, this was the other point that I wanted to make about Miss Tia. And makes it weird. When somebody is like trying to make a joke to get people to laugh, but it's like there's one person in the group that's kind of like, that was an off color joke. Like, why are we joking about that? She made a comment about her drinking while she was 6 months pregnant. Like, she had, first of all, again, this is where I feel like her little snooty attitude or whatever is going to start to like either fall to the wayside or something, because Angel handed her a drink, that hibiscus tea vodka mix thing, and she was like, "Oh, darling," like as if like she was confused, and then she was like, "Oh, okay, so it has alcohol in it." And that's what she wanted. But then she kind of confused Angel with her reaction. And Angel was like, so wait, hold on, you don't drink alcohol? And she was like, oh, no. And then they cut to her being in the confessional talking about the first time that she had alcohol, or one of the first times that she had alcohol was with her daughter when she was 6 months pregnant. And I'm like, okay, that's a weird joke. Like, maybe I didn't get it. Maybe my sense of humor is like not dark enough. But I just felt like that was kind of like weird and inappropriate and just kind of like, It was kind of when somebody just puts their mouth or their foot in their mouth and you could just tell when somebody has diarrhea of the mouth and you just want them to shut up. Like, please, because you're making everybody uncomfortable. So, another thing that was funny, this was funny, and this is where I see why there is a discussion around like whether or not Giselle should stay, Ashley should stay, because they stir up the shit in the group. Giselle did it was a good play. The way she played that one in Angel's house, she was like, "Oh, so okay, you guys are good, right? You and Wendy are good." And Wendy, did her little stupid shit. And then Kay was like, And then Giselle was like, okay, well, what about Kay and Angel? Are you guys good? So this is going to be the beginning of the end, I feel like. The beginning of the end as far as the friendship between Kay and Angel is never going to be the same after this show, especially if Angel stays on the show, which I feel like would be an odd situation too. Like I could see Angel staying on the show and Kay not staying on the show, because I don't know. Well, actually, I don't know if I can see that. It's just more so it makes the most sense, sort of. But I just feel like with them being friends, Angel's already showing not so much that, like, at first I looked at it as like, well, maybe she's just, she has her mind of her own, so she can have a different opinion about something that's Kay is having or whatever. But it felt like she specifically wanted to either take up for someone else, or because who was Kay talking about? I forget who Kay was talking about that she was having an issue with. And she brought it up to the ladies, and something about like, I think it was Wendy. It was either Wendy who came up to Kay talking about you did your makeup or something, and it was supposed to be shade, which is such a crazy thing. But it was supposed to be shade, and then something about somebody's kids, and she couldn't make it because of kids or something like that. And then Angel was like, well, maybe it was her kids. And somehow Kay got that and turned it into, you're not my friend because you're not on my side. And I was like, well, either Angel is playing a little bit right now, because I can't imagine that this is the first time that they're talking about it if y'all are friends, and she's playing up for the camera, or Kay really just wants everybody to have a blind allegiance to her, which I am not understanding. Kay is starting to really work my nerves as far as like her creating beefs with people. And it's like imaginary beefs that should not turn into a beef. Like, it's like, what are you really mad at? I feel like you're really mad at Greg and you're just not saying that. And then she somehow there was like a little blurb in the episode. I can't even remember what she was doing or who she was talking to. Somebody came over to her house and she started, it was Giselle, I think, who came over to her house. That was when that discussion went down. But she mentioned, me and Greg are good. Everything, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. I don't believe it. I feel like what we're seeing with Kay is that she realized what happened with her last year and the year before that was actually too much. It was actually too much too soon for somebody who didn't have a cherry blossom. You get what I'm saying? Like, so the year before last year, she got into that fight with the Muppet girl, right? And the bottle got broken on her head. I feel like that's when she should have kind of just laid low for a while. But instead of doing that, she kept, I don't know how, like, she immediately became a friend of, like, it was surprising to me to see her on the reunion, is what I'm trying to get at. It's like she kind of just like got swooped into being a part of the cast for whatever reason. Somebody vouched for her. But then we see her go straight into like this whole like playing house mode with Greg, and then we find out he's really an asshole who's controlling and kind of doesn't want her to do her own thing. So I kind of feel like that's part of why she got her own space as well. Like, she needed to have her own space, but I feel like that's part of why she had to get her own space, because Greg was pressuring her and he doesn't want to be filmed. He wants to be with her and be attached to her and linked in some way, associated with her energy, but does not necessarily want to do the things that would require her to feel safe and loved and all of that. Because I feel like also they've done enough now to where there should be an engagement ring or it should be a breakup. Like, I think she's at an age where it's like either a ring or a breakup. And not as an ultimatum, just as like what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Y'all moved in with each other already. Y'all have been on TV and introduced as a couple on, like, what else can we do except break up or get engaged? So yeah, that was that. I think that was pretty much everything as far as like the cast is concerned. It's interesting to see how all of this is going to come together though, because I do feel like with the women, there is not, it's not quite a nucleus. And if it is, Stacey's at the center of it, which is so strange to me. It's like all of a sudden they went from kind of playing Stacey to the left to now it's like we all hate Stacey. Like, how did we all jump on Stacey? Stacey cannot be everybody's problem. Everybody low-key has a problem with Stacey. It's like, oh, she's not telling the truth. She's not telling us all of her business. Like, all of that is kind of like going to get played out. Hopefully around like episode 4 or 5, like they'll have something else to talk about and get upset about. But yeah, that was pretty much it, guys. So what do you feel about these new cast members? Do you like Tia? I think I put a poll up. Do you like Tia? Do you like Angel? I think I like Angel more than I like Tia. I think I would like Tia. It's just, she just seems something about her. And I don't even want to call it fake. I just think it's somebody who is, it's like they have like borderline personality or something. Not trying to diagnose her. I'm just saying that, when people kind of like adopt other people's a personality as opposed to having their own, something about that is there, but you can't really tell because she's got this British accent. So automatically she seems, super foreign in that way. But what else? What do we think about like the cast as a whole? Are we liking the mesh? Do we like the mix? Do we even like the vets too? Because I think next week is supposed to have like Monique on there. And the whole Monique situation is strange because Monique left Real Housewives to go to Love and Marriage. I think that's the show, right? Love and Marriage DC or something. And last I heard, I thought like her and Chris were having an issue, but I didn't think they were getting a divorce. So to find out that Stacey may have or may not have tried to get at Chris, that seems weird to me. But I could have just been under a rock. I didn't know that it was that bad for them. Maybe they did break up for a period of time or separate and then come back together. Either way, I don't know that I would be too hard pressed to kind of go back into a group where there could be possibly a woman who tried to talk to my husband. Like, not that I would be worried or concerned about her. It's just kind of like weird. Or more so, I don't want that to be my comeback story. Like, it's because they're making it almost shaping it around like, oh, because she was talking to Chris, this is why, she's around. And I don't think that's even the case. Because we saw something else about where Chris was talking to somebody else who was like familiar with Karen. So I think there's something else that they're not saying, but the editing is making it look like, oh, Monique is storming back in to basically like go at Stacey. So anyway, I don't know. I do feel like it's shaping up. I just don't see its form yet. Like, I don't see how this cast in particular is going to be able to stay. It feels like one of those interim cast where, we'll settle for these ladies, but we're going to get another set next week. I mean, not next week, next season. And then, this is the other thing that I meant to say. What makes this crazier is that Wendy got arrested. So not only did she get arrested, while they're still airing. They have not even shot the reunion. This is only episode 2. So now the only thing I can think about is every time she's doing something, wearing something, I'm like, oh, is this a part of the insurance fraud? Like, I can't get that out of my mind. So I feel like she's going to have a really, 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 really tough time trying to make a comeback once we hit the reunion. Like, I don't think many people are going to want to have her back because, one, it's going to make them feel even more comfortable. So not only are you someone that generally a lot of people have not, it's like historically most people have not gotten along with Wendy at some point. Each one of them at some point has had an issue with her, if they still don't, right? So it's the fact that she's even able to shoot is odd if you really think about it, because Wendy doesn't have any friends from the cast. She's not really friends with Giselle. I mean, they try to act like that, but it took them a long time to get to that point. She's not really friends with Karen. It took her a long point to get to that friendship, and now they're no longer friends. Her and Kay were friends. Supposedly they have a better relationship off camera, but now that's gone to shit. She doesn't like Stacey. I feel like that because, I don't know, I feel like Stacey articulates better than her, so she's got some issue against her for that. Ashley is just kind of neutral, I guess. A little too juvenile for Wendy, or anybody, but that, and then who else is there? That's about it. And then what's going to end up happening is, like, first of all, she's not going to, like, I don't think her and Tia are going to be as cool as in my mind I would like them to be, because first of all, Wendy does not like other African women, especially if you're from Nigeria. It's something about that she just wants to be the only African girl. And I just see that. And then when the girl was like, oh, I'm Nigerian royalty, I know that just made her like shit a brick. Like, oh my God, she wanted to die. Like you can be better than me. Like, that's kind of like the vibe that I got. Like, and then Angel might be, I mean, that could be a toss up, but Angel is friends with Kay. So I don't see how she could be friends with Wendy for real. You know, like, it's just kind of messy. I don't really see how this is going to last. This cast does feel like it is hanging by a thread. Let me know in the comments, how do you guys feel about it, about this last episode as well? Do you feel like my points about Stacey being that girl kind of, like, you know, falls in line with what you were thinking? Because, yeah, I don't know. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share this recap. I know that for those of you who have been from my old channel, that I have kind of like hit a little bit of hiatus. I have been posting very slowly. I do have like 20 readings to post. I realized that I'm just going to probably go live on this channel. I'm not going to like do a lot of pre-recorded just because it doesn't make sense. As I build this up as like the backup, I don't feel like it makes sense for me to do a lot of recorded stuff just because it'll save me a lot of time. But there is some other intricate details behind the scenes that would require me to be able to do that. So just stay tuned, okay? I do appreciate everybody who has been over here. And if you are new, please make sure that you hit the like button and the subscribe button on your way out, okay? So I love you guys. I will be back with Real Housewives of Salt Lake City now.